apologize for the lighting today, guys, but I want to welcome you to another edition of the Invested Podcast. This is my first podcast. I'm actually going to do it standing up. I'm usually sitting down at my desk. I want to switch it up. I want to stand up today because I got a special guest. I got a guest been doing some really, really great things. Has a great business going that's helping lots and lots of people. I've been trying to get her on the podcast for a little while. She actually had asked me what my podcast was about. I'm like, is she kidding me? I'm like, you are the perfect guest for my podcast about investing yourself. Anyway, without further ado, before I start, make sure you like, subscribe, smack the subscribe button. Anyway, we'll go from there. Anyway, this is real, we keep it real. I want to welcome of Careful Heart Co. I want to welcome CEO of that, Candace Walls, to the Invest Podcast. Candace, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Happy to be here. Thank you so much for having me. I know we've been talking about it for a while since we first met, so very excited to be here.
Yeah, so it was crazy because I remember, because everybody's show or podcast, it doesn't fit, everybody's not a fit for that. But when I had originally seen you and I was watching you, and then I seen Careful Heart, you guys really, one of your mission statements is you really promote self-care, yes. Self-love, taking care of yourself and things of that nature. But, before we get into all that, and we're going to unpack a lot on this podcast, can you tell our viewers, our listeners, where you're from?
So my name is Candace Walls. As Johnny said, I am the CEO, owner, and creator of Careful Heart Company. We are located in Sacramento, California, but I am Oakland born and raised. So
okay. A little 510, right?
Yes.
All right.
Sacramento is my second home. I've been here for a while. This is where my family is, and this is where my business is, and where I am really setting my roots to build a community around care and wellness.
I love it. So a lot of times when individuals get into certain things, certain businesses and things of that nature they have a passion for, sometimes those roots are embedded early in their years, early in childhood. So can you talk to us a little bit about your childhood, growing up there in Oakland, California? I know about Oakland. Oakland be a little rough.
Yes. It can be a little rough, but it is very diverse and cultured, I like to say. I think my experiences in Oakland early on prepared me for the population that I now serve, not only in my business of Careful Heart Company, but as a marriage and family therapist. Being able to be culturally diverse and culturally appropriate to the different cultures, identities that come into the different offices and being able to serve them. So I think as a child, not only being in this diverse population, but I am also... my background is Kojic church, Christians, so religion. I've been in church all my life. So serving is a huge part of my upbringing, serving and community. I think even if I wasn't a therapist, if I wasn't doing self-care, I would be serving the community in some way because that is what we are deeply rooted in. So I had an amazing childhood. I was raised by a single mother who taught me independence, who taught me hard work and dedication, not only investing in myself, but investing love, care, and time into the people around me. So I think that was my early onset into learning to love myself, knowing that I had to be dedicated to exactly whatever I chose to do, and I needed to put 100% into anything that I put my name on.
Wow. So Careful Heart Co., you're a marriage and family counselor. So not only do you have this company, your other job is actually helping families.
Yes.
That are trying to, get through tough times and issues and things like that. So it's pretty much your whole life's work is about pretty much just helping individuals just all the way around. Am I right?
Yes, definitely helping others. And I think really being a resource is the one thing that I really have tried to stand firm in, because I know if it wasn't for the resources of my mother and her praying and her reaching out and making sure I had a strong network around me, my circumstances could be very different. So I want to be a resource to others, whether that be telling them about different tools and tips they can use to increase their care and wellness, how to be intentional, or how to navigate finding a therapist on their own. Some have, it's new for them. It's a whole, everyone's talking about self-care and therapy now, and it's being socialized. But therapy and self-care take a lot of work, and it takes a lot of intentional work, and sometimes it's not fun.
Yes, it's rough because like you said, self-love and self-care, as far as our society, it's like when I was a kid, I never heard about that. I'm an '80s baby. I grew up in the '80s and the '90s and stuff like that, and like people should have took care of self, but you just didn't have. It wasn't promoted. It wasn't promoted. Love yourself, take care of yourself. So people suffered a lot. In silence and things like that, and then even now, it's kind of still hard for some people to be able to go ask for help. But there's a lot more resources now than it was, back in the day. Like I said, I remember just coming up as a kid. I don't remember, a lot of those things. Things are different now. I know, like, just to kind of go off it for a minute, like, for instance, it wasn't okay when I was young for men to cry.
Right.
Man, I need help. I need to talk to somebody. I got problems. You was looked at as kind of weak back then. So I'm glad that you'll decide to devote your life towards being a resource. But like, I want to ask you something, because not everybody is yet in their purpose in life, the things that they're really meant to do. Some of us just do. So I really want to talk with you about really the importance of promoting people to find their purpose, find the things that they truly are meant to do. Because one thing I know, Candace, is we all have unique gifts. Can we touch on that really quickly?
Absolutely. I believe we all have unique gifts and we all have purpose. Now, I 1000% stand by. You can run from your purpose, but it will find you. Or it will. So many of us, we have that purpose, or we have something that we know we're called to. You feel it, and we don't go after it, and we wonder why these other things don't work out, and how do I keep ending up at this place? Because that's your purpose, and that's what you're called to do. And I think when you start to align yourself with what feels right, everything else just begins to fall into place. Not that it's easy, but you just notice that journey that you've been on that seems so tireless. Is why is nothing working my way?
Right.
Hey, because you were supposed to be going this way and you're going this way.
So, how do you feel just being in your purpose? How do you feel? How does that feel? Explain that to somebody that, they have a purpose and they kind of know what it is, but they're like, it's going to be, like you said, it's a lot of work. It's not something I can get to overnight. I can't do this overnight. It might take me 3 years, 5 years. Like, how does it feel though? Because for me to be doing things that are in my purpose, and been doing it for a little bit now and seeing some benefits of it, small benefits, but it feels great to be in my purpose. But in your own words, how do you feel?
It feels amazing. It feels, the one word that I can attach to it is responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
Once you start to align with that purpose, you then have the responsibility to continue forward, because taking steps back is not going in the right direction. You're going against everything that you work towards.
Right.
So it feels really good. But really staying focused on, so many times when you do find that purpose, just trying to stay focused on where I am now. Like, wow, this is where I am now. 2 months ago, I wasn't here. 6 months ago, I wasn't here. And just trying to enjoy the period that I'm in right now. Sometimes when we find that purpose, because of social media and society, got to do this, got to speed it up. I got to make it happen in 2 months.
Right.
There is no overnight success. There is nothing that comes overnight. Everything takes hard work, patience, and dedication. And it is a continuous journey, minute by minute, hour by hour, day by day. What worked yesterday may not work tomorrow. And you got to be okay to stay the course when it don't work out the way that it worked out the day before.
Yeah. And before we get into the gist about Careful Heart Co., you guys got it from her. And this is the same thing I tell other individuals. They want to know, hey, you do this, you're doing that. I say there's no secret sauce. I don't have the secret sauce, but an understanding of what it actually takes to get to the goals and get to the things that are truly great, the things that you really want. Mm-hmm. Great things it's going to take great work.
Yes.
It's going to take different things are going to take time, but it's most likely not going to be overnight. Are you willing to deal with that? Are you willing to put in the work, when not happening for you? People ask you, 6 months, how's it going? How's it going? Because we got this perception, especially with social media. We see so much out there. We're thinking like, bam, we see that person, they're living that life. They might not be, but it could have taken 5, 6 years, 7, 8 years to be able to get to that level. So guys, it takes time. There's levels to it. Learn, grow. If you make a mistake, don't look at it as a mistake. Look at it as practice. It is okay. People are just so afraid to get ridiculed and laughed at. Like they won't even try. They just sit in their little box, but they want to get out the box. But society just it has them in it like a jack in the box want to pop out, right?
And I think the thing is, they're going to laugh at you. They're going to laugh at you whether you stay in that box or whether you decide to jump out. So why not jump out and take that chance and stop comparing? We got to stop comparing. And my favorite quote right now, I have it in every notebook that I have: do not compare results without comparing efforts. Do not compare yourself to what you're seeing online, what you're seeing on TV. Half of the people that we see are not going to tell you how many times they failed. Right. I challenge everybody watching this. Somebody hipped me to it. Go research how many times Sean Combs, they call him Diddy, research how many times he failed and how much money he lost. We think he's the greatest. He has so many successful businesses. His mind is amazing.
Right.
He talks about in a documentary how many losses he took. We don't see that. We don't talk about that. We talk about this superstar who we see that continues to reinvent themselves. To reinvent yourself, it means you had to learn. You had to take some lessons, not losses, because they were all lessons to prepare you to the next stage. But we got to stop comparing ourselves to what we see, because your secret is you.
Game. Spitting game right there. Some gems. So let's get into the gist of what I got you on. Let's talk about Careful Heart Co. I've seen you for a little bit. I first met you at an event. I've seen you online. I've seen you doing like self-care, wellness events, seminars, all of that stuff. You put out wellness products. I mean, this thing is like totally awesome. I told my aunt I had met you at the event. I was having you onto the show. She can't wait to watch it. So let me shut up. Let's talk about Careful Heart Co. Explain that to me. How to get started, name and everything. It just fits.
So Careful Heart Co. How many times do we hear careful when we think about the caution and the care we're supposed to put into other people? And we put all this energy out into other people and the environment, and we don't put that same care into ourselves. Right. So Careful Heart Co. came about us being intentional about the care and wellness that we give ourselves. That's how I came up with the name. The purpose is really driven in ensuring that everyone has a gateway to healing. Okay. I think we look at healing as this one-dimensional. I absolutely know that everybody is not ready to sit in a therapy chair. But what if I can get a mom, a dad, a daughter struggling in school who feel like no one likes her to take 5 minutes every day to be intentional with the time to themselves, journaling, showering, engaging in some self-care, touch, actually knowing what feels right to them. If I could teach that and the importance of that, I can get them to the next level, which is talking to someone about maybe their traumas or their experiences that have been holding them back. So Careful Heart Company was really created to not only be a resource and a wealth of information and education, but to also be that gateway for minorities in healing. Because so many times with what we see, we don't think that we deserve healing. And part of it is oppression, what we've experienced. But I think we are more deserving of healing than anybody else. And so if I have to be a resource to make sure people that look like me, their needs are being heard, I have made that my mission to do so, whether that be through products, services, resources, or events.
Yeah, especially the minority community. Everybody goes through things, but especially minorities, we've been through a lot. And I had a guest on my show a while ago. He hosts the Melanated podcast. He talks about a lot of us minorities that, grew up rough upbringings. We tend to normalize a lot of things that aren't normal, and we actually end up going through life and we're actually trying to be parents and things of that. And we went through trauma, and we're victims of that. And then unfortunately, sometimes we pass on that trauma and that same cycle to our kids, and it just trickles down until somebody actually finds the courage to stop it. So it's great you found a resource for that, because you're right. There's a stigma for some people around therapy. They might eventually be able to get to that, but they might not quite be ready for that. But just you being able to give them a resource saying you can do this, but it's not quite that clinical setting. They might be a little bit more comfortable with that, because sometimes when you say, as a minority, and especially as a Black man, you say, I'm going to see a therapist, they're like, what's wrong with you, fool?
Right. And what's the first word they say? Crazy.
Crazy. You know what I'm saying? But I'll be like, man, it's like, it's crazy because we go through so many things, and like all of us like really, really like need to talk to somebody and be honest with you. Like, I feel like if a lot of us, all of us, every one of us has, excuse my language, has been through stuff, like been through shit, has stuff going on. If many of us sat down and even talk to somebody, a session or two, it probably could actually shape and change a lot of things in our life. It's just we just put things just inside. We just hold it in. We walk around with it so much, and then sometimes you see it just come out there, right?
Yeah, it festers for so long, and then you see it pop out and you don't know where it came from. And I think the one thing that has been really important to me is to know is for people to know that we all have trauma. No one walking the face of this earth is exempt from trauma, is exempt from experiencing a challenge or a hard time. We all just have it at different levels. Some of us have only had one experience that have shaped our world. Some of us have had trauma after trauma. Maybe that have been something that happened to us in childhood and not being able to escape that, and then engaging in certain actions as adults that then take our life into a different way. And then we're parenting from this place of fear and complex trauma because we're unhealed and we're passing that on to our babies.
Yeah. So I want to ask you, when did you start Careful Heart Company? When did it actually come out? When did you start really pushing? I know you probably the idea and everything probably floated around before you actually like put it out there. Just when did this whole idea of this whole brand, this whole company, this whole like entity, this thing is getting growing big. When did it start in your mind? When did you come up with
In
it?
my mind, I can actually say it started in high school. I
Wow.
started a group of girls in
Wow.
high school,
You've always had that.
and I called it Sisters Diversity. It was a
Okay.
group because
Okay.
at our school was so many girls going through different things. We were in a
Okay.
different area, and it was just a group where we can come and be ourselves and socialize. And going into education, I had the opportunity to minor in counseling. I got a little bit
Wow.
more information, and I went into the counseling class, and I was the only Black person there. They said, and the first thing that they said, slavery didn't exist. I was like, oh, they're going to be trying to provide us mental health, and they don't even understand our language.
Wow.
It really started there. And in 2017, I just started to try to think about, what do I want? I know what I want career. I'm working in that, but what else do I want this to attach to? How can I build this into something that really speaks to who I am at my core? And COVID made me sit down and put all those thoughts into
Oh
action.
yeah, COVID made people sit down, and a lot of things got started in COVID because you actually just had time to sit around. You couldn't do nothing. You couldn't go nowhere. If you didn't kind of put some things in motion of what you're trying to do during COVID, I
Yes.
don't know what to tell you. We had almost 2 years.
Yes. And so COVID really pushed me. It challenged me to get out of my comfort zone. I
Right,
think it's so easy for me to just stay in the career aspect.
for
Now,
sure.
having been in the human services for 9, 10 years now, it's
Yeah.
so easy to stay in that box. And
Yep.
COVID was just like, oh, like again, that purpose will follow you. You think you're getting away from it. And before you know it, it's on you and you're called to do it. And I just started to put my faith and dedication into one step at a time. And here I am with Johnny. So
I remember my first podcast ever a year and a half ago. I want to say it was with a life coach. Name was Deborah Keegan. She actually asked me a question. She said, "Jonathan, do you know what are the two most important days of your life?" I said, "Yeah, when I was born, and maybe when my kids were born." She said, "No. First is when you're born, because nothing happens. Your kids won't be here if you're not born. The second most important day of your life is when you realize what is your purpose. And then you actually go out there and you start to pursue and live in your purpose. One thing I tell all my followers, one thing I tell my friends that look at me in business and entrepreneurship and things like that is you got one life. Unfortunately, none of us are going to get out of here alive. We're all going to go one day in a box to earn. That's just what it is. Some people got 20 years here, some got 85 years here. We don't know.
mm-hmm.
Do the things that you enjoy, find what your purpose is, and pursue that. When you live in your purpose, many days are going to be great. Like for me, yeah, I have ups and downs and days like that, but me doing this and my brand and living in my purpose, it just
It's
what I now
fulfilling.
do professionally is kind of in my purpose. So so it's like it kind of fits. So I'm gonna pretty happy guy. So I want everybody to be able to find that, explore that. So before I let you go, one entrepreneur to the next, what would be some of your advice to someone right now that's going to watch this, going to listen? Entrepreneurs listen to my show, they watch it. What would be some advice that you would have to get them off the fence and into the game? Because there's people out there with some amazing ideas. But I listened to Les Brown. He said something like some of the best ideas they're in the graveyard because people never actually try to bring them to fruition. So, what advice would you give to people, that want to start something and they think they have a great idea, but they're just thinking about how hard it's going to be? It's going to be hard, but it's going to taste so good when it happens, when it works out.
Yeah. First of all, what in our life that we really want has ever come easy? Maybe that's just my story. I don't know
Nothing.
anything that I have actually.
I had nothing easy. Everything I had to work for, I had to claw for, I had to grind for.
Exactly. So I think, we talk about this hard work. We can either put some of this hard work into ourselves, or we can put this hard work into somebody else's company. It's going to be either or. And it could be both. But I also think you have to look at it at the opportunity that it provides me. Through entrepreneurship, not only have I found a way to serve for me, but I've also found where you find more about yourself. Like you found what your heart is or what drives you. You think you have drive. Entrepreneurship will show you what drive is.
Oh man, it's rough. I love it, but it's work. Oh, for sure.
Yes, it is definitely work. And I think it's fulfilling work. I think all of the thoughts that are going to happen with you riding or straddling the fence, why not put those same thoughts into action? What I think we got to get past like that thought of, well, what if it doesn't work? What if it does?
Right.
And like you said, if it doesn't work, it's a great opportunity to take another step and try it again. I just believe it's worth it. Anything that comes to your mind that is an idea came to you for a reason. Find some dedication in it. Find some purpose. Okay, literally write down what are the pros and cons of this? How could this benefit me? What is the core of this, and what do I want it to provide to other people? Because there is an audience for everything that you do. So exactly what am I trying to do? What is my end goal? And you really got to make sure that your heart is into it, because that's what keeps you going. Nothing about what I'm doing is easy every day. I have a 9 to 5 and I come in. I clock out of that one and I clock into everything else.
Yeah.
There no days off. I do engage in self-care a lot, but it takes dedication.
Yeah, it takes work because, for me, I work full time. I got a brand. As a matter of fact, I get off the phone with you. I got to pack some more orders and to ship out tomorrow. I got to get that going on. I produce a podcast. I have another woman. She makes a podcast for me, so we promote that, produce that. So it's a lot going on, but it's awesome. It's fun, and it's starting to work out. Starting to see the fruits of that work that I started a little while ago. And again, I tell people this, just get started. You're gonna look at that person, and be like, wow, that person started grinding 4 or 5 years ago. Why didn't I do that? Set on the side. So really quick before I let you go, can you talk about just real quick about some of the products that you guys make, some of the stuff that you guys offer, just a couple of little things for self-care? I know there's some like bath oils, bath salts, things of that nature. And then I'm going to have you let my listeners and viewers know, especially in our area, how they can get in touch with you, how they can find out more about Careful Heart Soap.
Yes, so I make all natural body care, soaps, bath soaps, oils, body butters, everything to literally some time for yourself wherever you are. Staycation, vacation at home, all of that, as well as I do self-care and wellness events. So at those events, we not only focus on the body care aspect, you make your own products, learning about herbs that are natural for your body, that detox your body, relax your mind, really bringing you to a place of peace. But we also do mind work. So we talk about the emotional side of mental health, as well as self-care and different things that you can do. Something as small as journaling, going for a walk, taking that 5 to 10 minutes to create a routine daily that is going to be impactful to you.
Wow. Awesome. Candace, you've been a great guest. It's been amazing having you on the show. We'll do it again sometime. Can you shout out your Instagram? And again, how my listeners and viewers can get in touch with you. Maybe they want to get some product. Maybe they want to attend one of those seminars, things of that nature. I'll be definitely coming out, checking out one of those seminars sometime really, really soon. I need some more self love, some more self care, all that good stuff. So shout out your Instagram, your contact info. How do they get in touch with the CEO of Careful Heart Co.?
So we are Careful Heart Co. on every social media platform. Our website is www.carefulheartco.com. Again, if you search Careful Heart Co., you're going to find us. We are everywhere. That is the hashtag. We do events. We are coming up with our Care for Christmas event. It is a shopping as well as care environment where we are going to do a toy drive that will benefit inner city youth, as well as you'll be able to shop with all local businesses. So we are really excited for that. Again, everything that I do is really about giving back and tying into community, because none of us are anything without community. There is some community, whether it's our sisters, our brothers, our friends, our parents. We all need community. We all need fellowship. So that is what we are about at Careful Heart Company. Johnny, I'm so grateful for you to have me, and thank you so much. This has been amazing.
Been great, Candace. Take care. Talk to you soon. Great show. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Take care.
Thank you.